Last year was my first time growing leeks and I did not have the best luck.
And basically everything that you shouldn't do, I did.
First, I didn't start the seeds on time. Second, I feel like I didn't plant them in the most adequate spot for them. Leeks like quite a bit of sun and I planted them in shady areas. So they grew, but they didn't grow the way I expected them to. And all of these I started on July 9th, which was quite a bit ago because it's the end of October now. So these are the Bulgarian giant leeks. And out of hundreds and hundreds of seeds, I only got 3 leeks. This one is Tadorna leek. I only got 1. And then this is the American flag leek, which is the only variety I grew last year. And this one had the best germination because I got 6 of them. But compared to the amount of seeds that I scattered, I feel like that's not enough. So then on August 14th, I sowed some more seeds, but this time I tried starting them in little 6-cell packs and I added humidity domes to help with germination. But I also went through and I was very meticulous about putting about 3 to 4 seeds per cell, and I got way better germination with these.
Personally, I don't think that the better germination was due to the starting trays that I used. I think it was just due to the humidity dome. And the seeds that did have the humidity dome had that moisture so that they didn't dry out and it was easier for them to germinate, versus the larger containers didn't have a humidity dome. So if I ever skipped a day of watering, that also affected some of the germination, or if some seeds were starting to sprout and then they dried up, that seed was no longer viable. So I think that's why there was such a huge difference. Personally, at least, but who knows.
So with these cells, they have a little hole at the bottom and I just poke my finger and then I'm able to pop out the leek. And any leeks that are clumped together, I just tease apart with my fingers until I gently break them up. I watch a few videos on how to plant leeks because I know that last year I did not have the greatest harvest and I want to fix that this year. By the way, this variety is called the Tadorna leek. I've never had leek soup, but I want to make some, but I didn't grow enough leeks last year to be able to make it. And I've bought leeks at the store. I buy a pack of like 2 leeks and I'm paying per pound, and sometimes they tend to be kind of heavy, so I'm paying like $5-6 for 2 leeks, which is pretty expensive. So I want to see how many I can plant myself. Here in the low desert, we can start planting leeks out starting in October. And I'm at the end of October, so I think this is a good time. And I believe I started some more. I'm not 100% sure though. But if I did, I'm going to be planting those out in the next few weeks. And I think I can plant these up until January. I didn't start as many American flag leeks this time around just because I really wanted to try varieties that would come out thicker. The American flag leek didn't come out as thick as I wanted it to. But then later on, I learned that that's kind of just how they grow. They're a little bit on the skinnier side. They grow really tall. But I want like the really fat leeks. So hopefully these fulfill that request. I have a funny leek story for you. Last year in the garden, I thought I was growing these humongous leeks. Huge stalks, beautiful greens. And I was so proud. I was like, okay, let me blanch these because I'm pretty sure if you blanch them, you get more of the white portion. So I meticulously went around tying brown paper to the base of the leeks and making it look all cute, tying it with little twine. And it took me forever. But I finally got each and every single one of them done. And I was so proud. Time went by and I started pulling back the paper, trying to see if the blanching was working. And everything was so green, and I was like, what's going on? Why aren't they blanching? Like, is the paper not opaque enough? Should I be using something else? And then I decided to dig around the soil, and every single leek that I thought I had blanched was actually garlic. I am going to plant 23 Tadorna leeks. Not bad. Not bad. And these already look so much better than the ones that I planted last year, because last year they looked like a little blade of grass that was like this tall, super tiny, and so maybe that also had to do with them not performing as well. The next variety that I have are the Bulgarian leeks. I looked up a lot of videos on how to plant leeks because I want to make sure that I do it right this time. A lot of the times people were putting them in holes and they just weren't filling the hole back in with soil. They were pouring water in. So I'm going to try that. I saw their harvest and their harvest looked amazing, so I'm going to do whatever they're doing. That's what the roots look like. So beautiful. And it's crazy that these were started after the ones in the pink containers, but the germination was just significantly better thanks to the humidity dome. Now I'm gonna tease apart the ones in these pink containers. This one is another Bulgarian giant. I wish that these containers had a hole at the bottom. Look at all those roots. Wow. That's awesome. Next up are going to be the American flag leeks, and these are the only ones that I started of this variety. What happened, mister? Wow. American flag leeks. Excuse me. Ooh, hopefully I get some really good ones because these came out a lot bigger than the transplants from last year. Oh, did I count these? I didn't count these, huh? I was only able to get 6 American flag leeks. Out of the Bulgarian giants, I got 29 Bulgarian giant leeks. That's a really, really good amount. And they were all started from seed. So I think I'm ready to plant them into the garden. I have several large containers over here, but I need to move all of these sweet potato vines. Now I have a question for you. Do you see how some of these sweet potato vines are starting to turn a little bit yellow? It's just a few leaves here and there. But I'm wondering if that means it's ready to harvest, or do I have to wait for them to die all the way back? Because I'm feeling a little impatient. I want to see what the sweet potatoes look like. I'm gonna move them over here. I want to plant the leeks in that 25-gallon container back there. I know it's a really huge container, but I think the Bulgarian giants might go really well in there. I have 2 different types of dibbers. This one was sent to me by Gardener Supply, and I like that I can mark it, and I like the size, but it's a little bit wider. I also have a hand dibber, and this is the one that I usually use for projects because it's small, it works well, and it also has the markings, but they're a little bit more worn off. So I think I'm gonna use this one. And the leeks that I'm gonna plant here are gonna be the Bulgarian giant leeks. I don't know how big they are, but the name tells me maybe I should give them a little bit more space, or at least a little bit more depth.
Okay, so apparently I was wrong, and the Bulgarian giant leek variety is not as giant as I first thought. Instead, it's described as long and thin, and it matures in 110 days. But this is not the leek that I had in mind.
So I'm gonna make my hole. Everything's already set up on irrigation, and since it's a circular container, I'm just gonna follow where the irrigation goes. I'm gonna use little scissors to just cut off some of these roots, just so that they're not too long, just like that. And I made the hole like this, but now I'm gonna take the other side, and I'm really gonna make that hole in there so that the roots can fit. I'm just gonna keep going around, popping them in there, and I'm just trimming the roots whenever I need to. These also have pretty long roots. At first I was kind of confused as to why they didn't fill it in with soil. It feels so weird because I'm used to backfilling. But I guess we're gonna be backfilling with water, and over time the soil should fall back in on its own. So I'm gonna put my tag down on the side, and then I'm just gonna water every single little hole in. This is my favorite watering can. It's from Gardener Supply Company. I purchased it, I think last year, and I really like it. I think it's like 3 gallons. It's huge, which is nice. That way I don't have to go back and forth from the other side of the yard to this side of the yard. And then I just like using my watering wand. You're so cute. Got it. Now I'm just gonna put water into every single hole. Man, this watering can is a lot heavier than I remember. Now I still have 2 other varieties of leeks to plant, and I think I want to use this 15-gallon container, but I need to get it to the other side of the garden, so I'm going to use a dolly. I purchased this one from Tractor Supply.
No, that's not right. I actually purchased it from Harbor Freight for under $15.
And it has made moving all of my containers a lot easier, especially when they're full of soil and water and roots at times. This container used to house some heritage raspberries that almost made it through the summer. They almost made it through the summer, but at the very end, they started drying up. And I honestly think they probably could have survived, but then I pulled them out because they had thorns. I just want thornless varieties. I learned my lesson there. So I'm gonna move these out of the way. That way we have more space in this walkway. And I tied a string to it to make it easier to pull. I used to have to drag all of them around, and now I can just roll them around. So I have my container where I want it. Next, I'm going to top it off with a little bit more soil. This is just Pro Mix, organic garden mix. I usually mix up my soil, but I'm on a time crunch right now, especially after being sick for a while. I just don't have the energy. So this is what I'm gonna use. This I bought for like $4 at Walmart. They're usually, I think, about like $10 to $15, but they were on clearance, so maybe they've marked them down even more. And I bought like 3 of them because I thought the price was really good, and I'm probably gonna pick up a few more. I personally prefer to mix up my own soil, but whenever I can't, I like to find a good deal. And the reason I like mixing up my soil is also to save money. And I'm also gonna work in some sand to the top layer just so that it can be a little bit more airy. This is just some playground sand. Now I'm gonna work it in. Oh, the sun's really coming out now. I can feel it. I can already feel the textures way better. And then the rest of the soil that I had in here is already good to go. It was nice sandy loamy soil. It's just the little portion that I topped it off with that I wanted to amend. And I also want to add a little bit of fertilizer. Now I'm also going to work that into the top. I always like to have irrigation set up before I start planting, because that way I don't have to weave the irrigation around anything else. In this container, I'm going to plant some Tadorna leeks, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Make my holes first. I'm going to trim off any roots that are too long. And I'm going to repeat the same process with all the holes. The last few leeks I want to plant in that 25-gallon right there next to this Pakistan mulberry tree. But first I got to move these sweet potatoes out of the way. Oh, I want to harvest them so bad, but I think I should still wait. Levi, are you going to help me move them? Said no, but I will climb the tree. All of this is coming out of one container. I don't know how I should do it. I really only have like one Tadorna leek left. I think I'm gonna do like half of the container American flag leeks, and then half of the container the Bulgarian giant leeks. 3, 4. With these, I'm definitely having to trim off some of the roots.
And that's how I planted leeks the first time. But 3 days later, I suddenly got this feeling that I should double check my work. So I looked up more videos on how to plant leeks and realized I'd made a huge mistake. It's a few days later and I'm back out here because I watched a few more videos on planting leeks, and I don't think I planted mine deep enough. I thought I had at the moment, but after watching a few videos on how other people plant them, I don't think I did it well enough. So I'm gonna go through and re-sow those leeks, making sure to bury them just a little bit deeper. That way I get really nice blanched stems. As you can see, I have quite a bit of stems sticking out, so I'm just gonna dig up every single leek. See, I don't feel like I planted them deep enough. And I'm actually gonna go in with a dibber that I got from Gardener Supply Company. This is the dibber. It's pretty long, and as you can see, it's much wider than the other one I was using. So I'm gonna bury them about 6 inches deep. And then I'm just gonna use that little marker there. Yeah, that is significantly deeper than I had mine. That's what it looked like in the videos I watched. Something else that I saw other people doing was washing the roots, but I think mine should be fine. For these super big ones,
Could probably plant them even a little deeper than that. That looks a lot more like the videos that I saw. So now I'm gonna water them in like I did the first time. I think it's especially noticeable in this container how shallow I planted these leeks, and like the root ball is too close to the surface. I'm glad I looked up a few more videos and I didn't wait too long. Maybe this is why last year's harvest also didn't come out so great. I'm done with the last few leeks. I'm gonna water them in and then they're ready to go, and hopefully next spring we get some really, really beautiful leeks. And that's how I planted leeks in containers twice. And that's okay. Gardening is an infinite learning journey. I will mess up again and again, but that doesn't mean I failed. It means I learned something I didn't know before.